Hello, this is a sideshow, and I'm Theodore Parker. And today is Tuesday, September the 13th, 2022. Outside, the temperature is about 57, going up to 75. The sun is already out. Don't forget about the mask. Same suggestions I've been passing all along. If your positivity rate is over 5% in your area, help out. Put that mask on if you're going outside or away from your home. Well, it took some time to talk to y'all about the show yesterday, so get back into the headlines today. And it starts off with railroads face total shutdown without union deal by the deadline. I think it's Friday. Already, to kind of make a long story short, this has been going on for a few days, and it's particularly addressing the unions involved in railway freight. There are 12 unions altogether. 9 of them have kind of tentatively reached an agreement that would prevent a strike. And you need 12. The 9 are saying they will not go without a full agreement from all 12. So a few more days left on that. Realize that ground transportation is one of the primary ways that things get around in this country. So, if nothing else, keep your fingers crossed that they'll come to an agreement as union terminology goes. Ukraine pushes to retake all the land from Russia and calls for Western support with arms. This is something they've been doing all along, but this has been kind of like a eyebrow-raising turnaround to what the Russians have been doing in the country of Ukraine. All that territory that the Russians were claiming in their invasion is now being retaken. One time I saw the 25,000 Russian troops have retreated and continue to give ground, and that Ukraine is advancing with a well-planned attack on getting that territory back from the Russians. Going over to Capitol Hill, Mansion. In this particular situation, it involves fossil fuels and agreement tied into climate control, climate change. And up until this point, Manchin is a Democrat, if I understand correctly. A lot of the deals that his fellow Democrats had wanted to put over or put across, he has somehow managed to stop. So now that he has a big apple in the tub, so to speak, they are looking at him the same way. Well, if you want this fossil fuel deal or energy bill, however it's correctly stated, to go through, then you're going to have to get along with us. Because we see an opportunity to stop what you want since you've been stopping what we want. So we'll see how that one goes. Back across the water, across the pond to New England, we're all aware by now that Queen Elizabeth II has passed away. The King Charles III has been coronated or brought in as king, that he's addressed the nation, so to speak, and spoke about his family and other royalty and what the future holds for the country or England. So that brings us again, as I said yesterday, to Harry and Meghan, of course, William and Kate. So Harry says that, the palace is going to be lonely without his grandmother. So that's understandable. But Charles is saying they are his children, but Harry and Meghan will not be playing a role in the government, which was already going on anyway, so it's not too much of a sting, so to speak. But again, as I said, all things given, they would be in their 60s anyway if they, by the time their turn came to sit on the throne as king. And you see how old Charles is and how long his mother lived, so We'll leave the English government to the English people. Now, speaking of the Queen's death, this particular next item I had seen a couple of times, and then I see it again, and I kind of held back out of like a little bit of propriety and not trying to be too out of sorts. But it's related to a statement that a associate professor from Carnegie Mellon University made about Queen Elizabeth being sick. So, the woman is Black, she's from Nigeria. So she said that she hoped that the Queen died an excruciating, painful death. And that based on her country's history, and she's from Nigeria or of Nigerian ancestry culture, that they were ruling a, how does she say it now, racist, rapist government. And she was the queen of that. So I kind of took it in context, and in the time that I first saw it, so now everybody's kind of waded in. She put this up on Twitter. Twitter took it down as being offensive content. Carnegie Mellon spoke up, acknowledging her freedom to express herself, but did not necessarily agree with her comments. So it's kind of like going back and forth, but gotten more bigger, okay? So I kind of try to take it in context, not so much the freedom of information thing or the freedom of speech, but as you see, you got all kinds of reactions. But here's the deal. I'm thinking, well, yeah, that's probably true, back in the 1800s and this and that and so forth and so on. But this woman is talking about, well, Nigeria in particular, probably up until 1960. So that's when my mind kind of opened up about it, because in this country, speaking about the United States of America, in the 1960s, Black people were kind of going through the same thing that she's speaking of. So then I start kind of relating to her attitude, if not her choice of words. And then I remember that one time that was very popular right now, Ancestry.com, was offering Black people an opportunity to search their ancestry back into Africa to see what African tribe their roots led them to. So as you know, Africa is a big country. You can have the Congo, you can have the Igbo, all familiar with Mandingos, the Zulu, however. So that was kind of like a big item back then. So anyway, here we are. It's up in the news again. And she's added some comments that the Queen was part of the white woman culture. We probably relate that to the South. She relates it to Nigeria. But anyway, that was the item. So then, just to kind of go out the door on a different note, I see this little article about some comments from President Obama in relation to the Queen. So he starts out and he says, it's in his experience of people that he has met who are the same as they should be. I guess that means their public presentation does not vary so much as what you find on a personal level. So here's the story. The three people are the Dalai Lama, Nelson Mandela, and Queen Elizabeth. And the reasoning is his experience, talking about President Obama, is that in the first year of his first administration, his mother-in-law and Malia and Sasha went to England, okay, for whatever reason, vacation, whatever. So he describes this, he says, my mother-in-law, has worked, in a bank all her life, lived in Southside Chicago all her life. My daughter, Sasha, was 11, and Malia was 8. And the queen reached out to them and invited them to come to the palace for tea. You know, it wasn't like they were there for a formal visit or anything else, state pomp and all that kind of stuff involved. So when she found out they were in the country, she invited them for tea. So that's his story. So that's the little mixture for Tuesday, September the 13th, 2022. That's it. Hashtag.